Going back to some of our Oldhammer classics, there's something covered in this mighty old red tone. That's a bit harder to get hold of these days, still get it, and that's flock. It's just coloured sawdust, essentially. This used to be really common throughout the 90s. You can see that there. Insane to use flock to both use the bushes and the bases of it. But it's not as common now. It's really easy to make. Go to a local wood merchants, carpenters, and they'll have bags of sawdust, really fine stuff, stuff they have to use a vacuum to clean up with. And you're just going to take it a couple of spoonfuls into a mixing jug. I should say at this stage, there is a bit of a health and safety risk with sawdust. Sawdust is kosh. It is a substance hazardous to your health. If this gets airborne and it floats around, it can get in your lungs and cause you some damage, especially if it's MDF, because that tank contains a chemical called formaldehyde. Do be careful, make sure you have an N95 mask on or a well ventilated area, and wipe down any surfaces with a wet cloth when you're finished. Once you have your sawdust in a suitable container to mix it with, you just add an acrylic paint. Colour fast is better, so acrylics are generally colour fast, but other cheap paints will work. And just pour it in. This is acrylic ink. And just stir. This doesn't feel like it'll work. And it's going to clump up like it is now. And you'll be there going, no, this is a load of old rubbish. But just keep stirring. And once you've finished thoroughly mixing it in, make sure you get all the bottom. Make sure there's nothing left over. That's the mixing stage on. It is quite damp. Get an old box and spread it out. Yeah, it looks quite clumpy at the moment, and to be fair, it is quite clumpy. When this dries, it will start separating out again. That's your classic goblin green, bright green. It doesn't look quite as nice, so I'm going to throw in a few different shades of green. So I've got an old elf green I bought on discount. This is an old war painter paint that's been discontinued. This is ideal for making flocks and painting scenery. If a paint brand's gone out of date or no longer manufactured, buy them up for your painting projects. I'm going to mix up a batch of that in that colour. Yep, thoroughly mixed in again. Let's get it to dry. That is quite a shade darker. That's fine. When you start mixing it all together, it will look more natural. Do break up any of the larger blocks. That's pretty much ready to go. When it's at that stage, we're going to take it out into the sunlight, let it dry naturally. If it's not a particularly sunny day, put it in your oven after you've cooked something. This is all non-toxic. It shouldn't give off any fumes or anything nasty like that, so it should be okay. Or it'll need a couple of days in a warm room to dry. I've left that mixture to dry thoroughly for a few days, and we have this nice fine dust. And that's basically flock, but we do have the occasional hard lump in there, so we can't use it as is just yet. What we need to do is pass it all through a sieve. Just grab handfuls and shake it through. Once you've sieved it for a few minutes and you've got these lumps left over, some of them will be quite hard and you won't be able to break them up, but others you will be able to force through a little bit of pressure from your finger and they'll break up nicely. But your stuff like this that's left, that can just be thrown away. That's not much good, but it might be. I might save that and see if I can do something with it in another project. So it might be worth you doing it as well. All the bits that wouldn't filter through the sieve, I added some black ink to, like I did with the original green ink, and now I have this fantastic scatter I can throw on bases. I can use this for rubble, small rocks and that sort of thing. And it's just a leftover product. Fantastic. Well, I hope you found that useful, and I'll see you on the next one.